Well, apparently, film festivals are no longer allowed in a state where pride flags are not allowed. Huh? And all we have to talk about today is this article that Sundance, which normally could take place in Utah, they have passed a bill that's saying that the rainbow flags, the pride flag, is basically outlawed. And so Sundance doesn't even know if they're going to be able to have their entire film festival there anymore. Let's go a little bit more into it and actually unpack this. So while it says that Utah's hopes of keeping Sundance are threatened by anti-pride flag bill on the governor's desk, so I guess it hasn't been signed yet. Let's just go into this because there's a lot that I could say about it. By the end of April, the new home of the Sundance Film Festival should be public knowledge, with the Salt Lake City combo, Boulder, Colorado, or Cincinnati bid picked as the host for the next decade. But Salt Lake City and Park City, they basically got the bids. However, there's a bill that's going straight towards the Utah governor, Spencer Cox, and straight going to his desk that would ban the pride flag in schools and other state government buildings. And it might be an 11th hour obstacle to the Beehive State's hope of keeping the Robert Redford founded shindig past 2026. What? Bitch, what are you saying? What? You can't have a film festival because you can't have a pride flag in schools and government buildings? What do these two have to do with each other? And the fact that this is even an article right now is kind of boiling my blood. Why would this even be in the topic of conversation? Why can't it just be about films? Obviously, we will go into this. What are they thinking? A Sundance insider said late Tuesday of the bill to ban that flag after a virtual meeting between the Utah leaders and members of the festival selection committee. Utah's Utah, but this goes to the heart of the community Sundance has worked years and years to develop. There it is right there. There is one of the smoking guns. They have worked years and years to push this stuff into basically the identity of the Sundance Film Festival. Why can't we just call it the Sundance Pride Festival? That's what you want to do in the first place. It's no longer a film festival. It's about pushing your gay agenda and everything. I know I'm getting a little bit political on this, but this is absolute horseshit. And this takes away from like indie films, period. It takes away from the artistry of everything. Yes, you can have that stuff there. You can have it in your films. But the fact that this one of these little things, like we can't wave our flags though, well, that just means we can't be there anymore. Good for you, the intolerant, tolerant people. It's a terrible law, a terrible look for the state. Who cares? The insider added of the Republican legislation that was passed by the state Senate on a 21-8 vote last week. So it looks like the governor probably is going to sign it. And no matter what they say, we all know who it's aimed at. It's aimed at the pride community, and that's unacceptable. Or states' rights. But we're not going to go into politics too much about this. What does this have to do with film? How many times are going to have to say this during this video? What does this have to do with celebrating indie films? Just because you can't wave a freaking flag. Having put forward a pitch to shift the focus of Sundance from its longtime base of Park City to Salt Lake, starting in 2027, the Utah bid is led by Governor Cox. Yes, and the festival's current decade-long contract with Park City is expiring next year. And before they even made it public that it would take bids for a new home, almost everyone acknowledged something had to change after 40 years in the once sleepy resort town. Okay, who cares? While broad questions of Sundance's future in a fast-changing media, why are we still talking about the tourism thing? We should be talking about the film festival, Sundance Film Festival. That's where a lot of movies actually get recognition because they can't really afford to get major releases. And so Sundance is one of those places. Same thing with Toronto Film Festival, TIFF. Same thing with Cannes Film Festival. A lot of films premiere there because that's how they can actually get eyes on their film that can be picked up from bigger distributors and actually get a better release. Why does it have anything to do with a flag? Why does it have anything to do with that at all? In recent weeks, knowing that nothing says I love you like cold hard cash, Cox has shifted tactics and moved to ensure $3 million for a Sundance in this year's state budget. What does that even have to do with anything? In recent weeks, knowing that nothing says I love you like cold hard cash, No, he's going to sign the bill because he was elected by the electorate, and they voted 21-8 in favor of signing the bill. So it's going to look really bad on him if he doesn't sign it and he vetoes it. It's just going to go back to the House and the Senate again. They're going to override him. Same thing. Oh my gosh, people don't know anything. Anyway, I digress. Despite that, the likelihood that Cox will sign the anti-pride flag bill soon has caused Utah to find itself at deep odds with Sundance's express values of a vibrant, inviting, and inclusive festival. You can be whatever you want to be. That doesn't mean you can wave your flags. If it's states' rights, not against, if it's against the law because of the states' rights in government properties, it's not telling you what you can or can't do in your personal life on your personal property. It's just saying in schools, the bill literally in this thing, I know they're bemoaning it so much, but in this article, it is literally saying that it only applies to schools and government property. Why is it having such a hard time with this? You can be vibrant, flamboyant. You can be inviting to all kinds of people. It's almost like treating individuals like individuals, and you can have an inclusive festival. Everyone, okay, let's not say everyone because we definitely don't want terrorists and others of that ilk in there, but I know what they mean by inclusive. That's totally fine to have these people around and be friends with them and like appreciate their art, watch their films, see if they have anything to say, see if they tell a good story. There is nothing wrong with that. Unless this is held on government property, basically all it is a flag. Don't wave your flag. Just be yourself. What is so fucking wrong with this? With the Blue State Boulder emerging in the past 3 months as the one to beat among the 3 finalists. Part of the raison d'etre of the March 11th virtual meeting between Utah and Sundance principals was to increase the comeback momentum for the state. The recent passage, which several Utah and SLC sources contend is aimed to punish the relatively progressive and most populous city in the state. That state's pretty spread out. I don't know if you've been there or not. Has caused concern and slowed up momentum, I'm told. Hearsay. There we go. Passed in the last days of the current Utah legislative branch. The bill, why are we going off into this? I'm just going to let you know right now that I am stopping reading the rest of the article. A lot of it is legal jargon, and it's people just like talking out of their ass because no one is stopping you from being who you are. You're not being lynched. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You aren't even going to be jailed or looked down on in anything like that. Salt Lake City is pretty daggone blue. There's no issues with that. It's just school and government property where you shouldn't have these other things. I think one of the things that the article says is that they're only allowed to show the American flag and the Utah flag. Great. That's how it should be. Keep politics out of it. Keep your personal stuff out of it. Keep religion out of it. And basically at this point, wokeism is a religion. At least that's how they're treating things. This should have nothing to do with the Sundance Film Festival being held in Salt Lake City. For the sake of Patness, what is so wrong with so many people? I mean, you got a centimeter, you got an inch, you got a mile. Now you have 500 miles, and it's still not enough for you because you can't just sit there and produce something that is good for the public. Not even good for the public in that way, but it is palatable to the public, something that other people will like. You can't do anything on your own merit. It all has to be about your fucking identity. And your identity has to do with the genitals, not that you were born with, but the ones that you have to like shove hormone blockers, all kinds of drugs, have things snipped off, have things re-sewn on and attached. That's the only thing that makes you who you are, I guess, in today's world now. Fuck this shit. Just make a damn good movie. There's a reason why Hollywood's failing, and it's you motherfuckers right there. I'm not mad at you, the viewer. I'm mad at Hollywood and this woke movement. It needs to stop, in my opinion. To you, the individual, who even if you identify as something like that, I don't hate you. We can still be friends. It's totally fine. But shoehorning everything in, just ramrodding it down people's throats. Nobody needs to know about what your personal ideology is. That doesn't matter. I still love you as a human being, and God still loves you. Whether you agree with that or not, doesn't matter. Still the truth. Y'all take care. This is Multi Malty from the mouth of Multi. Have a good one. And just make good movies. For fuck's sake.